When Jews by the hundreds of thousands were ethnically cleansed and driven from their lands all over the Middle East and North Africa, not a single person asked that their lands and properties be returned to them, at least for there to be reparations. Many Arabs that fled from Israel in 1948 after Arab armies and Arabs inside of Israel attacked the newfound state of Israel were told that they would not be resettled in any one of the many Arab nations throughout the Middle East and North Africa. The message was clear. Lands and properties could be taken from Jews, and Jews could be forced out of homes where they had lived for centuries and in many places for thousands of years, and no one would care. Jews could be made refugees, but if an Arab was made into a refugee from a war that the Arabs started in their pursuit of the complete destruction of Israel and extermination of its Jewish population, then the Jews had to leave their once small country, including by being exterminated, in order to make way for Arabs. Israel absorbed the Jewish refugees from Arab-majority lands that came from throughout the Middle East and North Africa. These Jews and their descendants, brown-skinned people, make up Israel's majority population. There is only one reason why the war against Israel started and continues to this day. It is the same reason that drove many people throughout the Middle East and North Africa in the years before Israel became a state in 1948 to persecute Jews and periodically massacre them. This includes the slaughter of Jews throughout pre-Israel, British-controlled Palestine, and massacres and pogroms against Jews and lands throughout the Middle East and North Africa, including in Iraq, Libya, Syria, Algeria, Hebron, and elsewhere in British-controlled Palestine, Yemen, and more. The hatred for a tiny religious ethnic minority continues to this day. The hatred of Jews and their use as a scapegoat to blame for everything is what helped the demonic Hitler win millions of followers and control one of the most powerful countries on the planet so that he could carry out his extermination of millions of Jews. The war that Hitler started ended with over 70 million people killed, including almost all of the Jews of Europe, over 6 million, and Europe in ruin. Millions of lives were destroyed. Millions of people on all sides that survived the war were permanently crippled, wounded, and scarred for life. Hitler made it about race, even though Jew is not a race. For many centuries before Hitler, the Jews living in Europe were persecuted in Christian majority Europe based on religion. Hamas and their many allies and supporters make it about religion. They make it clear that the Jew must be destroyed. It does not matter if Israel exists on one single hectare or acre of land. It would have to be destroyed. They openly declare in their words, in their charters, that Israel must be destroyed and Jews must be killed. The world is rallying once again to the genocidal call, the seductive siren's call to exterminate the Jew. Because it is about the Jew, all of the terrible things normal human beings should be opposed to, rape, kidnapping, mutilation, torture, murder, such as what Hamas and Islamic Jihad and others committed on October 7th inside of Israel, is all of a sudden supported. Others use denial to provide cover to Hamas so that they can carry on their genocidal campaign unopposed. If hatred of Jews, anti-Semitism, is finally acknowledged, faced, and repudiated, there finally can be peace and reconciliation between Israel and Palestinian Arabs. Having an enemy to hate is seductive. It can be lucrative. It often gives voice and power to the most demented, demonic people. It diverts attention from the terrible environmental degradation that is destroying the planet, the mass poverty destroying the lives of hundreds of millions, dying in destroyed oceans, plastics, harmful chemicals, and other harmful materials and substances, poisoning the planet, biodiversity collapse, climate change, the many terrible wars raging across the planet, including the war and genocide in Darfur, and more. When people slaughter other people by the millions, including in recent or ongoing wars in Yemen, Syria, Sudan, Myanmar, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Somalia, Northern Nigeria, and in many other places, no one cares. If there's not the Jew to blame, scapegoat, and hate, there is silence. No matter what the enemies of Israel do or do not do, Israel has the responsibility to remain moral and ethical. But at some point, the realization kicks in that the enemies of Israel and Jews could care less. If Israel is a perfect nation, and if every Jew in the world is an angel, they need to hate, incite, demonize, nitpick, and find fault with Jews and their small country of Israel. It is their Jew-hating obsession. There's no mid-ground for them short of Israel being destroyed and Jews being exterminated. Israel is imperfect and has made mistakes and done things that are wrong. But so have other countries. And unlike as with Israel, there's no worldwide demand for other countries to be destroyed and for their people to be exterminated. There was no reasoning with Hitler, even to the end. With Germany almost defeated, Hitler wanted the genocide against Jews to continue. Even then, he continued to blame Jews for all the wrongs and ending everything that went wrong. He still blamed on the Jew, despite his own incompetence, evil, and horrible mistakes that he made, military and otherwise. Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, the mullahs of Iran, and many others want exactly what Hitler wanted. Unfortunately, far too many people feed off of hatred. They need an enemy to rally and mobilize against. They need the Jew to hate, blame, and demonize. This does not help Jew, Arab, or anyone else. It is not the responsibility of Israel or Jews to submit to the genocide their enemies seek.